Active and Passive Karma, read by Dave Marsland of Cardiff Theosophical Society, from Exposition of the Doctrine of Karma, written by an unknown Theosophist under the pseudonym Brother Atisha, published in 1910. Active and Passive Karma. Active karma, or karma bhava, is the karma that we are now making by our thoughts, words and deeds, and our life in general, and the good and bad in it. This will produce what is to be the passive karma of the next life, that is to say, its environments and conditions. In like manner, the active karma of the past existence has produced the passive karma of this life. Passive karma, or as it is called upapatibhava, is the environment, conditions and character in which we are born. All those things in life over which it appears that we have no control, and which set us wondering why we should have such environments and hindrances to our progress. There is a strange passage in the Mahabharata which is worth consideration, although, be it remembered, it is not an authoritative doctrine, but certain words spoken by Bhishma to Yudhishthira to the effect that the fruit of the act will appear at the next corresponding period of life in the next birth. There may be, and probably is, a large amount of truth in this statement, and it is quite possible that very strong or serious deeds do have their effect in the way stated. It is possible to account for startling and unexpected events in our lives in this way, and it is possible to counteract these effects. Some of us go under a cloud for years, then all at once the cloud lifts and things seem to take a new turn and a new aspect. It is all on account of some past karma that was too powerful to annul until completely worked off. Another point here arises. It would seem that the passive side of our lives is pretty well mapped out beforehand, by our own deeds of course, and that fatality and destiny and predestination are partly or wholly true. But on consideration, we see that it is not so, but that whatever happens to us, so happens because we have brought it on ourselves. If our karma was too powerful to be averted, we call it destiny. As for fate, it is, was and will be in our own hands. A certain passage from the Vaishnava Dharmasastra or Vishnu Sutra here comes to mind. It runs thus: a man will not die before his time has come, even though he has been pierced by 1,000 shafts. He will not live after his time is out, even though he has only been touched by a blade of kusa grass. This needs explanation. Although it is true that our life, being the product of past causes, must certainly be fixed as a logical result of past causes, or mapped out in its main features, yet it must also be borne in mind that we have the power every day to modify or change this so-called fate that is ours. In practice, therefore, it must be very rare indeed, if ever, that anyone lives the exact length of time that he has pre-fashioned for himself. The same book says, when the effects of one's acts in a former existence, by which his present existence is caused, have expired, death snatcheth away a man forcibly. In connection with this, it is well to remember that a man can alter his fate, and if length of days be a definite result of past karma, most assuredly fresh karma can be generated in this life, the effect of which is to counteract the results of past karma. You may set a stone rolling down a hill, and by the law of karma it must reach the bottom, but it may also be stopped by running ahead and staying with it or turning it aside. The immortal true self within is lord of karma, and by treading the path of union with that hidden one we can master fate, or at least modify it. Otherwise it will master us. Let us remember these words from the Shu King, Book of Annals. It is not heaven that cutteth short men's lives, they bring them to an end themselves.